All right, guys. Captain Paul here, your no regrets captain. And today I want to talk about a huge mistake it seems like every single boat owner or buyer makes. And I want to save you some money. I want to save you some big money. And today let's talk about what this mistake is. And what we're going to talk about today is water makers. And I want to hear in the comments what you guys think about what I'm about ready to say. So, I can remember just about every single boat I've been on. Everybody talks about this water maker. And, I got to have a water maker. Got to have a water maker. I've been on a few surveys, and these guys are saying, did you try the water maker? Does water maker work? And I said, well, if you want to call the water maker company out here, have them fire it up, and then have it pickled, go ahead and do that. And for me, it's probably one of the biggest mistakes boaters make. They buy their boats, they put these freaking water makers on there that cost $10,000. Somebody in the comments, help me out. What did you pay for your water maker, and was it worth the money that you put in there? Because anybody that goes to the Bahamas, I'm going to save this for a few more minutes. I'm going to tell you about my trip to the Bahamas and how I feel about this. But anybody out there buying a boat, and then one of the first investments they make, or second or third, is a water maker, you didn't do your homework. And some of your homework is just watching this video, because I'm going to explain to you why it's a big mistake. Okay, so you buy your boat, you say, oh, I'm going to the Bahamas, I'm going to buy this water maker, and they don't have any water over there. That's a myth. And it's a lie. There's plenty of water over in the Bahamas. Not all marinas, and not every single time you stop will you have access to water. But for the most part, you will. And just about every marina we stopped at, we were able to get water. But we didn't have any, and we had a water maker. And I'll tell you how we had the water maker here in just a minute. Anyway, so if you're planning one trip, let's say, to the Bahamas, let's say you shell out $10,000 for this water maker, okay? Now, can you justify spending $10,000 to make a few gallons of water? You tell me. I mean, what are you going to make, 200 gallons, 500 gallons of water? Is that worth $10,000? In the Bahamas, I don't care if they sell it for $1 a gallon, and you bought, I don't know, let's say you stayed there for a month and you bought 500 gallons, it cost you $500. $10,000 or, $500 or $10,000 for a one-time usage. In the comments, I want to hear what you guys think about that. So when I went to the Bahamas in Southern Estate had a water maker when we purchased it. The owner pickled it correctly. When he pickled it, when we got to Boot Key Harbor, I hired a guy that knew water makers, and I told Pete, I says, here's the deal with our water maker. I said, if we can get the water maker going for $500, I'm going to use it. We'll use it. And that was our budget. $500. Not $5,000, not $10,000. The boat had an existing one, and believe it or not, you can build a water maker for less than, I wouldn't say, right around probably about $2,000. You can build your own water maker instead of spending $8,000 and blah, blah, blah. And I'll explain at the end of the video, if I was going to buy a water maker, what I personally would be looking for. Anyway, so we were able to get our water maker fired up, and we had to go out and buy some parts, and with no membrane or nothing like that, just like the meters and all that stuff, and some new meters to test the water and stuff like that. We bought all those little gauges. I think we spent less than $200, and then we were able to fire up the water maker. Worked absolutely beautifully. We got super lucky, and after I found out later, it was one of the best water makers ever produced and one of the simplest. But it was all manual, so you would have to go down back into the lazarette. I'd have to put my lines into the bucket. I'd have to test, bring the brine in, do all the water testing, and then which usually took about, you'd make 1 5-gallon pail, By the time you got through that, maybe a little bit less than that, you were ready to switch the valves and put the water in the tank. So it was kind of a manual system, wasn't an automatic system, but it worked really, really well. In the day I sold Southern Estate, that water maker worked. So that was one reason to have a water maker, and it was a working water maker. A couple of other scenarios. I've been on several boats. They went out, they spent all the money, Blue Max. There's a couple other ones. All bought these boats, all bought these water makers, never even turned the water maker on. Because I think we all have these big dreams. We're going to the Bahamas and stuff like that. What you don't understand about the water makers is they're no good inland. And it's because of all of the like the grasses, all the fertilizers and all the stuff that we use in the grasses, that all goes into the water, and then that's within the coastline. So like if you're in Boot Key Harbor, all of that stuff, it's not good for the water maker. And neither is anything within, let's say, I don't know, let's call it inshore, intercoastal, all that stuff. It's just that's not the water that you want to be putting through your water maker. You want to get 3 miles offshore. So if you're not an offshore person, so if you can get in your boat, drive it offshore 3 miles, then you can make water. So that means even if you're riding in the ICW, you should go out into the ocean, skip out, and then ride around, make water, and then come back into the intercoastal. So if you're not willing to do that, and a lot of people, they don't understand when you get out of that intercoastal out into the ocean what the difference in the two waters are, and it is huge. And then when they get out into the Gulf Stream, that freaks them out even more. And when they get over to the Bahamas, they're so stressed out. I've seen more than one scenario. They get over to the Bahamas, the boat is sold. They never jump back on the boat. And that's not everybody, but there are people like that. Absolutely, that's happened. So the chances of you ever even turning your water maker on that you just spent, let's say, I'm just going to throw a round number out there, like $10,000. The chance of you turning it on, I would say, are probably less out of 10, probably a 9.5, 9.8% chance you're never even going to ever use your water maker that you just spent $10,000 on. And that money could have been used to upgrade electronics, add another screen, stuff that you're going to be using every single day. So I would never tell anybody to buy a water maker. Now, with that being said, here's the way I look at it. And when people ask me, what kind of water maker would you buy and what would you put on a boat? Well, this is the way I would approach it. I would use it as a survival. So I would buy one of the blue suitcase ones. And then I could justify it because I can take that home with me. I could take it in my RV. I can take it on my boat. If I ever sold that boat and got another boat, I can use it that way too. But to just come out point blank and say, hey, I want to put a water maker on the boat, they take up a lot of space, they cost a lot of money, and the chance of you being in an environment where you can even use it properly is very, very slim. So for all those reasons, and again, I want to hear in the comments, what do you guys think about this? Is a water maker a waste of money, or would you get your value of your $10,000 of that? And would you rather? I'd rather have triple screens at my helm for navigating the boat, or more radios, anything except a water maker that I would never use to start with. So, and again, I want to hear in the comments what you guys think, because I bet I've been on 20 boats over the last 4 years of people that have purchased their water maker and again have never turned them on. I was in one survey and this guy was just so adamant of it. Every second out of his mouth was, what's the water maker? What's the water maker? I go, dude, this boat shouldn't even have a water maker on it. And B, the chance of you ever getting in an environment where you could actually use this thing, because it wasn't even built to go offshore. And it was it was absolutely craziness. And you know what? That boat never even barely made it off of, did anything, little old, ever turned on a water maker. It was, in the end, the least of that owner's problems. But again, I've had people purchase brand new ones, Never even turned them on. Never used them. So I believe it's the number one myth about buying a boat is that water maker, and is it worth it? And the answer is absolutely 100% not. We went around from Florida through the Panama Canal all the way up what they call the Mexican Riviera to San Diego, then all the way up to Grays Harbor, Washington. At one time I had 4 guys on the boat, and we had 750 gallons of water, and never even came close. And we were washing clothes, taking showers, doing whatever we want, and we never even came close to half a tank of water. And we were out one day. One part of the leg. We were out 7 days and 6 nights. That boat did not have a water maker, and there was no need to put a water maker on there because you could go out with a crew for a week with 750 gallons of water and not have any problems at all. Again, I want to hear in the comments what you guys think about that. We didn't even, it wasn't even an option. And the boat didn't have one, so we went with the regular water. But could have we used one on that one? Yeah, I mean, we could have kept our water tank filled off. But why? Why would you want to spend $10,000 probably on that boat, the Big Hatteras? That water maker would probably be about $15,000. And is it worth 15 grand? Nah, it's not. Unless you're going to live full time on it and do the type of cruising that you require water maker. Like if you're specifically buying a boat to go to the Bahamas, the Exumas, and all of that stuff, and you're never coming back to the U.S., or you're going to spend 6 months over there out of the year over there, that's when you want to buy a water maker. That's when it starts making sense. It makes no sense to go with one just for a 1 week or even a 1 month trip over to the Bahamas. For a water maker to spend $10,000, no way. Anyway, peace out. I hope I over preached it and oversold the water maker. Again, I want to hear in the comments what you guys think. God, I appreciate all of you so much. God bless you. Have a great evening or a great afternoon or a great morning. And I hate to ruin your day because I'm sure a lot of you guys are dreaming about buying these boats. I talk to you every single day, and I think every single one of you have that big dream of, it's got to have a water maker. It doesn't have to have a water maker, trust me. Put more screens in. That's where you'll really, your money value will go out much, much further, and the resale will be much, much better. Anyway, peace out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, live life with no regret. I do, and thank you so much.